let's not talk about the Nami cover page.
Ooh, baby, I love your way every day.
Let's just not talk about that. This is Sundown Rider here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 916, a great sumo match in the Wano country. Now, this was a really good chapter. I really enjoyed it. I mean, like, not much like full scale went down. We just really saw a continuation from last chapter directly of what Luffy did to the Yokozuna Urashima. But it was I really just enjoy. I'm enjoying Wano just because of the kind of culture of it, and just seeing kind of it's like we're reading about Japan, but not really about Japan in One Piece, and it's such a cool thing, and I've been waiting for Wano for so long that I think every reviewer, and possibly even most fans of One Piece will just enjoy Wano because of how much we've waited for it, or how long we've waited for it. So it's going to be a really biased opinion within the One Piece community, and I'd love to see someone new to One Piece jump into Wano and like how they would assess it. Let me know if any of you are actually new to One Piece and what you've thought of Wano so far. So let's talk about it straight away. So we continue straight from when Okiku cut off the Yokozuna's top knot, which is a great disgrace, like I mentioned last time, and his hair just falls over his shoulders and down his back because it's not tied up again. But it's not tied up at all because his top knot has been cut off, and everyone shits themselves. Like, oh my god, not only did Urashima just get dumped by this chick, she went and cut off his top knot, so he's seething with rage, and he's actually crying, I was like, ooh, this is a bit deep. I wasn't ready for this. So he's pissed off. He's like, Okiku, you betrayed me. He's looking like Kaido. He's like, his face is black with rage, and I'm just like, oh my god. And Okiku, I kind of, she seems to be a bit ditzy in the sense that she just realizes at this point, like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have cut off a samurai's top knot in front of so many people. It's like, no shit, if her intention wasn't to embarrass him, that's the last thing she should have done, but it was the first thing she did in reaction to actually just saving herself. So she seems to be one of those kind of, not airheaded, but just a bit ditzy, and she didn't consider what she was about to do just before doing it, and she actually seems to kind of regret what she did. And all the way through this chapter, she kind of had this like cutesy kind of thing going, and she was talking with Zoro. People are shipping her with Zoro all over the place, and I'm just like, calm down, son. I mean, like, we understand that Sanji went through the whole thing with Pudding, but we don't need like a 2.0 Zoro and Okiku. I mean, like, that would be cool, but I don't think we need that yet. But so yeah, we have Urashima pissed off, and he uses a move called Harite, I think it is. I'm not sure how you actually pronounce it. I think it's Harite. And it's an open palm strike aimed at the face. You'll see it on Jaime's box, so you can read that. But he prepares to basically kick the shit out of Okiku, and everyone's shook that, oh my god, he's gonna kill this hot chick. And I was like, don't kill the hot chick yet. And she's there actually like making a good judgment of Urashima. She's like, oh, he's not the type of guy who would aim his attack at a woman, but he's pretty pissed off right now because his top knot just got ripped off or cut off. So he goes in and he's like this close to just killing Okiku. And I was actually a little bit like disappointed that she didn't make a move to defend herself. But I'm sure that if it came down to it and she was like close to dying, she would have pulled out her sword and just tore his arm off. But luckily enough, Luffy jumps in and uses his own version of like a sumo attack, and I think it is actually a sumo term. So it's another form of harite called supari, and you can read exactly what that is again. And he basically counteracts Urashima's attack, and they both kind of nullify each other and blast each other away in the ring, but managed to stay in. And Okiku's just there like, yo, this is pretty dope. And everyone else is just everyone in the crowd who was just watching this really attentively, they're just like, yo, this is pretty dope. So both Luffy and Urashima stay in. She cheers on Luffy once again, very cutesy. I was like, I have a weird thing for Okiku. I think she's really, really hot. So the Yokozuna, Urashima and Luffy stay in the ring, and obviously Urashima's like, bro, who the hell are you to her? Let me just kill her for basically for dishonoring me in front of so many people, and my honor has already been tainted because she's she's cut off my top knot. And he also asks Luffy like, how the hell did you block my harite? Something he doesn't really seem to focus on. And obviously you see Okiku here, and she seems to actually be like a little bit she seems to feel a little bit guilty about what she's done. So Luffy's like, you know what, you can kick this shit out of Okiku if you want, but you gotta fight me first and then kill her. So I thought that was pretty fun. I was like, okay, do you want to defend her or not? But I think Luffy and Zoro both clocked last chapter that Okiku can defend herself. She doesn't need to be escorted by Luffy or anything like that. I mean, like, she's no kind of Shirahoshi type character. She can defend herself fine. And Luffy's they're like, oh, I'm a great sumo wrestler, let's do this. And it turns out he's had like he's sumo wrestled against Usopp and he's beaten him a few times. So I liked his title, his Oda box, Pirate and Sumo Wrestler Aspirant. or aspirant. I'm not sure actually. Aspirant, I think. And they're referring to him as Luffy no Umi. Someone's gonna have to explain that to me. I'm not sure what that actually means. Luffy no Umi. Umi isn't Umi like grasslands or something like that, like a field. I remember a Yu-Gi-Oh card being called Umi. But so Luffy of the Grasslands? I don't know. Someone tell me in the comments what Luffy no Umi is. So yeah, everyone's laughing at the fact that Luffy's actually going to try and sumo wrestle this guy, but Luffy's there evading all of his attacks and stuff like that, and they're like, hey, this guy's pretty light on his feet, he's doing a good job. And Kaido's men seem to be enjoying the fight, and they seem to be enjoying that Luffy is dodging everything. And you see Urashima literally trying to kill him, and then he actually he dishonors himself by going for an eye gouge and stuff like that, which annoys Luffy a bit. But Luffy's like, you know what, if you're going to play like that, I'm going to take you out, son. So Luffy starts to use his devil fruit, and then we go to Hold'em, who's actually there literally trying to pry Tama's cheek off. Like he's there with a pair of pliers just pulling at her cheek, and he's just been told that the Yokozuna's top knot has been cut off by a woman, and he's like, what do you want me to do about that? Why should I give a shit? And it turns out he should have given a shit. So he says, I'm busy right now trying to pull this kid's cheek off, and obviously Tama's in big time pain. She's like, you know what, I'll give you a baboon back. I don't give it, just stop. And it's over here we notice that well, I didn't notice the last chapter, but we see that Hold'em actually has quite a large tail and a really bushy tail, much like a lion, but very like big time bushy at the end, way more than a normal lion. So he then talks to Tama about the Kozuki family. He's like, hey, you mentioned them earlier, but you shouldn't cling to the dead. And then he goes on to say something which is bound to come back to us in the future, and we'll find out more about it. But he says 20 years ago, the Kozuki family was planning to destroy this country. So it must be something to do with, and he calls them a family of evil, and it's probably why he's teamed up with Kaido, or he's one of Kaido's men, and he's happy with having destroyed the Kozuki family, or being a part of pushing them out or whatever, and rebelling against them. But this point of view is always important, because what we have to realize is that Kaido's men, or some of Kaido's men at least, it looks like Hold'em at least, may not actually be inherently evil, but he may have had a genuine reason to fight against the Kozuki clan, like many people would have done. It depends on how you see the ruler. And it might have been something like he was really against opening the borders, maybe like really afraid of people coming in and stuff like that. So, and I think the Kozuki family was one of those families that wanted to integrate with the rest of the world. So maybe he was really against opening the borders, or maybe there was something deeper that we still don't know yet. So then we go to Law, and he's there with Beppo, and it turns out Beppo is eating the poisoned fish from the rivers, because the rivers are poisoned. And Law's just like, why would you do that at a time like this? So he's there tending to Beppo not being able to go and check up on Luffy. And then we see Hawkins, and he's just talking through his Denden Mushi. He's like, if you see a guy with a straw hat, don't lay a hand on him. He's Luffy. He's gonna kick your ass. And he's just like, I'm heading that way. And you see a bead of sweat on him. And with Basil, this whole chapter with Basil Hawkins, I feel like much like when we first met Law on Punk Hazard, well, not first met Law, but when we met Law again on Punk Hazard, I think Hawkins has an ulterior motive, and I think he's afraid that Luffy's going to ruin it. And much like Beige, yeah, much like Beige on Whole Cake Island, I think he's going to be one of those characters who teams up with Luffy and Law, and he actually causes a ruckus. I can't wait for Hawkins to be like to finally change over and go to the dark side and stuff like that. But I hope he does do that, because it would just be I really enjoy seeing interactions between the supernovas, and just having Hawkins there. I really like his devil fruit as well, because it seems to be really unique, so I want to see exactly what he can do. So we go back to Luffy fighting against Urashima, and people are looking at Luffy's arm having stretched, and obviously he's building up all this potential energy, and he's telling Luffy, you know what, get out of my way, I'm going to kill Okiku, I'm going to break her skull and everything. And Luffy's just like, you know what, I'm not gonna back down. And okay, we have Urashima there saying, I'm the number one sumo wrestler in the country, I'm the Yokozuna, and Luffy's just there like, bro, I'm gonna be the Pirate King. And I was like, so then he just comes in with a giant like gear third Supari, and he just absolutely demolishes Urashima. I mean, like, Urashima's hair flings back, the impact literally buffets, or buffet, I think that's the word, buffets, I think it is. The impact is so large that it buffets everyone in the crowd. Their faces just being contorted inwards. You see Urashima again, he's lost a tooth, and Okiku's like, oh damn, that was a solid ass slap. And you see Urashima just go flung into a building, and even then when I first read it, I knew that building was going to be the one Hold'em was in. It had to be. So Urashima gets flung into this building breaks down, and Luffy's just everyone's shit scared. They're just like, oh my god, Luffy just destroyed it. Well, they're not scared, they're shocked that Luffy actually just managed to take out Urashima. Look at the size difference. So then we have a guy recognize Zoro as Zorojuro, the magistrate murderer, and Zoro's just like, so what you gonna do about it, bro? And they kind of clock that Luffy, Okiku, and Zoro are in a group, and then they start to shit themselves because they're like, actually, first Luffy, Zoro, and Okiku strike a really dank ass pose, and Luffy's just there like, oh yeah, go find me, Otama, and everyone shits it and they run away. But we have Kaido's men who actually stand their ground. We have this guy with a huge beard, but it's a rabbit beard. It's got like a rabbit's face on it, and he's got rabbit ears coming out of his shoulders. Really weird looking guy, but definitely one of Kaido's men. And then we have this whole Okiku thing and her interaction with Zoro, and this is where people were going apeshit. Like, oh my god, Okiku and Zoro are gonna get married. It's like Zoriku or some shit like that. So I was like, so she asks Zoro like, what should I do? And he's like, stop spacing out. I'm not gonna watch your back. Obviously, like I said, Luffy and Zoro both know that she can hack anyone. She can defend herself. She's plenty strong enough, and she's just there like she just like purses her lips because she's like because of how Zoro's talking to her, and she seems to be like not offended, but she seems very playful, but she's also a little bit concerned about what she should actually do. So then she asks Zoro again. She's like, should I cut them? And he's like, bro, if you want to save Tama, yeah, you better cut them now. So then she actually pulls out a sword and starts wrecking people, and I really want to see more of her. I mean, like, she hasn't shown like her true strength yet. She's able to take out these lackeys for jokes, but I want to see her actually take on someone powerful and put them in a body bag. I want to see exactly what she can do. So Zoro's there telling all these men, all these kind of there must be Kaido's men and the Shogun's men. He's telling them, bro, you need to call out Holden before there's none of you left, because we're just rinsing you guys. And Luffy just grabs one. He's like, what's your boss's name? Now obviously Luffy messes up the name straight away. He's told it's Holden, and he just drops the guy. He's like, hey, Holpig, where you at? And I was like, bruh. Right, okay. So and he's there challenging Holden. I was about to say Holpig. He's there challenging Holpig. He's like, bro, you need to get out. I'm here for Otama. I'm gonna kill your ass. So Hold'em, I was about to say Holpig again. This is so bad. So Hold'em is just there, and he's on top of the building again, and he's like, if you're looking for the boss, here I am. My name is Hold'em. I was about to say Holpig again. This is going to be bad. I'm going to say it at one point. So everyone's happy. All of Kaido's men, they're happy that Hold'em's popped up. And I really like the interaction between Luffy and Hold'em, because Luffy's there like being really earnest. He's like, ha, so you finally showed up. And Hold'em's like, I didn't really have a choice now, did I? You broke down my house. So, and then we see Hold'em. And I actually really like Hold'em's design. He has a long flowing black hair. Like I said before, he has blackened lips, much like a lion. And then he has whiskers. He's very tall, very beefy looking guy. I mean, he's got a bit of a stomach on him, but he's not like, he looks more like a power lifter than anything. And then he's got that kind of that lion belt thing that's got Otama in his mouth, and he's got a really cool looking sword. It's a long sword to begin with, a really long sword, and it has like this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 pointed star as its kind of cross guard, and it looks really good. It might actually be a named blade, so I'm hoping Hold'em is actually a swordsman. I'm hoping he can actually use that sword, but I get the feeling he might be a Luffy type of guy, and he just has like a named blade because he knows it's a named blade. Maybe the gifters and headliners have named blades because they think they're cool as shit, like most people do, but he can't actually use it. So I get the feeling that might be the case, but I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping he can actually use that blade. So Luffy and Okiku are surprised that Tama's in this lion's jaws, and what's his name? Hold'em continues. He's like, hey, you broke down my house because with Urashima and all this. Where did you even come from? And then he asks Luffy, he's like, where did you guys even come from? I mean, like, you're pointing your swords at me, but are you subordinates of that thief Shutenmaru? Now I've forgotten what the Tengu guy's name was, but I don't think it was Shutenmaru. Let me just make sure it wasn't Shutenmaru, because if it was, then that would change things. But I don't think we actually know anybody in One Piece called Shutenmaru. No, we don't. So he asks us if they're subordinates of that thief Shutenmaru. So it might be a friend of the Tengu guy. It might actually be the Tengu guy. But he assumes that Luffy and company are friends of this guy. So he then tells Luffy, he's like, you even move a muscle, I'm gonna basically bite Otama in two. And Luffy's there concerned about one thing. He's like, oh my god, this guy's stomach is a lion. Obviously he wants him as part of the crew. So then we see Basil. We see Hawkins approaching Bakura City's gates, and he's like, okay, I'm almost to the entrance. We see Law just being told that Hawkins has arrived at the entrance and that the city there's a fire raging through the town. The town's been put off a flame, or put to the torch, and Law's just there like, shit, like what the hell's going on? I'm here, I'm trying to attend to Beppo. So then you see Law and he's just like, oh my god, he's really concerned. Luffy's really happy, like ready to fight. Hold'em's just like, bro, I'm gonna kick your ass for destroying my house. And Hawkins, like I said, is just really, really concerned and really, really stoic. And I really feel like he's gonna do something against Kaido's crew. And he's gonna look at Luffy and be like, I had everything going right, and you had to come and interrupt me. But as is always the case, Luffy will interrupt your plan, but then he'll win the fight for you. So don't worry about it. So I think Hawkins is gonna jump ship. I can't wait for it. The only issue this chapter had is that we've got a break next week, and it says we'll return in issue 42. I'm not sure when that will be. Hopefully 2 weeks time. If not, we've got a break for One Piece that might be long. But let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.